Hello, my name is Makasy, and last week I just uploaded the unboxing video. I didn't do the in-between video. I'm gonna stop that for now because I have far too many video backed up, and I also think it takes a bit away from the review video because you already sort of see me talk about it. As you can see by the title and thumbnail, we are talking about a leather jacket from CCP. My first leather jacket from CCP. I have this bad habit of jumping into the deep end when I get into the brand. When I first got into Rick Owens, my first pair of footwear was the Kiss boots. When I first got into CCP, my first footwear was the U-sole. A little backstory, skip it if you like. I swear I'm not trying to make this video longer. I'm only punishing myself because I have to edit this and watch it 10, 20, 30 times. So I have wanted to buy a nice black leather jacket since 2015, 2016. At the time, I was really into thrifting, so I was hoping I would get a nice black leather jacket, simple. And at the time, the nicest leather jacket that I knew was the Hedi Slimane leather jacket. There's nothing unique about it. It's calf leather. It's in the standard leather jacket shape. It was just a really well-made product from a high-quality brand. I didn't know about horse or kangaroo or bison. I mean, I knew of them, but never looked deeper because my pocket wasn't that deep yet. And obviously I never got into it. I never got one. Never found one at the thrift shop. And now it's 2025 and I finally got a black leather jacket. I always get what I want, gentlemen. Again, a statement of determination, not cockiness. I bought it from this guy from the UK. He made a mistake of having the listing up on another platform. Someone else bought it. He had to pay 1K something for the eBay selling fees if he had to refund. He was in a stressful mood. He was stressed out. So I told him, okay, I will send it back. I just want my money back. What that means is I've only had this jacket for roughly 3 to 4 days. I wore it enough to talk about the details such as the sleeve, the gloves, the leather. I wore it around the house enough to talk about the fit. I won't be able to talk about what wearing it is like in the winter and a few more categories, but for the few days that I had it, I believe I wore it enough to talk about it and then do a little projection into the future. Before we start, I know I'm doing a lot of prefaces. I should note that I got a lot of information that you will hear from this website, which was written by Charlie, the library, Dartland, Berlin, Samza, my hallucination when I forgot to take my Prozac, in clothing, a bit from Facebook, a bit from Pornhub. I looked everywhere because you want multiple sources saying the same thing. Fashion magazine isn't the same as the New York Times when they're reporting news about election or politics and whatnot. Anyway, all of the sources will be cited and linked in the description. Go crazy. And also, with every purchase, CCP give you this lovely little booklet to let you know more about the product. Let's read through it together, shall we? No? Okay, that's fine. Less editing for me. So, the full name of this leather jacket, it is the CCP LM 2599 GSP ROOLS ROOLS-PTC 10 object dye line scar stitch titanium prosthetic spine, elbow, and arthrostic hands, high neck leather jacket. Got so much trouble pronouncing that. So this is according to the tag that comes with it. Websites that carry CCP will have something similar to that, but we will stick to the official tag from the woman herself, Carol. If you like, we can expound upon the name. CCP stands for Carol Christian Poel. LM stands for Leather Male. 2599 is a puzzle, but if we break it down, it's 2 plus 5. 7 is a very sacred number, such as 7 days a week. God rested on the 7th day. 7 colors in the gay rainbows. In Islam and Judaism, 7 heavens. 7 musical notes, 7 wonders of the worlds. In the book of Revelation, 7 churches, 7 angels, 7 stars. Muslim pilgrim walk around the Kaaba 7 times. In Hinduism, 7 heavens, 7 hells. Buddhism, Buddha was born and walked 7th step. And then 99 because that's the highest that Carol can count to. GSP, well, Carol fucked up here. If you're not familiar, Carol is a big nerd. In 1973, the Global Positioning System, or GPS, was invented by the US as a joint civil and military program. Many assume that CCP products take forever to make because of the long leather tanning and or dyeing process, but it actually comes down to Carol being a shitty passenger princess. Prior to GPS, you gotta draw out your route on a physical map, and he would always draw them wrong, thus slowing down the company's supply chain. He was so excited when GPS was finally available to Gen Pop in 1983 that he decided to honor this great invention that saved his company thousands, if not millions of dollars. However, he couldn't even do that right. He wrote GSP. Carol and the whole team had a big laugh about it, and they decided to keep the mistake because, Carol, he's a big jokester, Rules stand for kangaroo. Rules is thin. Rooms is a thick version. PTC stand for pronto pertintura in capo, meaning ready to be dominated by a big-titted goth girl. This just means that the jacket is fully assembled before they get chucked into these large drums to be dyed. Number 10 stand for the color black. I already explained object dyed. Line scar stitch, these stitches right here. Scar stitch and overlock seams or visible overlock seams are overcast seams that give the seam the visual aspect of a scar. They are sewn on the inside of the garment but also visible on the outside. Scar stitch and overlocks differ a bit by the gauge of the thread, a bit heavier for the overlock. The melt lock seam is used to reinforce the inside of the overlock. Again, I got all of this information from all of the links in the description below. I have no interest in gatekeeping information. I love sharing information. Prosthetic spine and elbow, as we learned from Cam in the Discord that shall not be named. I'm kidding. It's on the screen right now. The inspiration for these titanium bits are bone illnesses like osteoporosis. With the arthrosic hands, if you Google arthrosic, I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, Google will suggest arthrosics, which is another name for osteoarthritis. Arthrosics happens because of wear and tears of the cartilage at the joints, mainly due to aging or intense use of the joint during exercise, sports, or intense jerking off. We're not going to look too in-depth into it. Just look up arthritis, which is arthrosis, if you want to learn more, or look up BBC porn. High neck. So Carol, he hates short people. There was an incident reported back in 2007 in a German newspaper where Carol took his whole team to attend a short person convention, and they literally just stood there and just laughed at them, pointed and laughed at them. If you're asking me, not very avant-garde of them, to be honest. Anyway, leather jacket, because, it's a leather jacket. Not everything has to have secret meaning, you nerds. Stop reaching. Oh my god, Carol ate salmon for breakfast. Is he fighting the injustice that salmon and other animals go through because humans decide to eat them instead of fruit and vegetable that Allah and bears give to us? Is this about greed? Is he subtly hinting at the discrimination of African Americans during the 1920s? He ate salmon, dipshit. That's it. Carol, a nepo baby of a family that works in the leather industry, he took up this occupation because he has no ambitions, nor the free will to think to become a doctor or engineer. He was gaslit by his family into working in the leather industry. Anyway, that's a good transition to the detailed portion of the video. Let's start with the high neck. This is, I believe, my third or fourth garment with the high neck. Not exactly turtleneck where it goes all the way up, but it goes all the way, enough for you where you can borrow a bit of your neck in there and a bit of your face. My neck is quite thick, so if you're the same size as me or skinnier, you can also borrow your neck. But if you work out a lot and your necks are really big, you would have a bit of trouble here. Surprisingly, multiple ways to wear this neck despite how simple the collar look. Though it's slightly off kilter, when you let both neck down, they sit kind of symmetrically to one another. The other way is to let the longer neck part open while the other one closed. Lastly, zip it up all the way to show the people that the zipper is slightly slanted. I wish it was more severe though. If someone who doesn't care about fashion look at this, they might think it looks straight because they're not that interested in fashion. If you look here, you can see that the neck widen out as you get closer to the edge. Very good detail for me. Cover more of your face and neck when you wanted to. Oh, also very glad that the zipper go all the way up. Carol could have easily only made the zipper zip up to here. This make the neck stand up a bit more. It's a bit more structure. You also get the lock for the zipper in case you ever get bothered by the noise of the zipper while you're walking. Overall, good detail. Slightly different than, say, a typical jacket. There's a bit of room for improvement, but it's fine as it is. I will appreciate it as it is and not try to make too many comparisons. We're going to talk about all of the zippers on this jacket right now and then a bit more as we get to their own category. So the main zipper, slightly off kilter at a 5 to 15 degree-ish. I wish it was more severe. Would have loved them to be a bit more like the fencing jacket, two-way zipper. I also love that detail. When my girl wants to take a photo of me while I'm sitting, I will zip the button. I will zip the bottom up a bit so the body of the jacket looks a bit better while I'm seated. I wrote that before I had to return it, and I don't have any b-roll of that. Other than that, fairly decorative. Okay, let's talk negative now. These are just regular YKK zippers. So bad. First, since it's a two-way zipper, you get two polars. This means that you gotta connect this little bit down here to both of the polars. Here's a real-time footage of me trying to connect the zippers. One more pro I want to give Carol for the zipper, they're on the big side, which is great. And now quick ASMR. Do you hear how it's a bit tame? I want it to sound a bit more rough, more vicious, so it can fit this jacket a bit more, you know, because this jacket, it's a very vicious looking jacket. And now the zipper on the sleeve, the noise is even less intimidating. They're a bit smaller, a bit smoother than the main zipper. You get a bit of leather to try to hide the zipper, which doesn't do a great job, kind of half-assing it. Of course, the locks for the zipper. Also, the teeth, they don't look too intimidating. Let's quickly compare it to my Visvim vest. Do you see how this one looks so much more vicious and mean? Since the jacket goes through the object dye process, the whole jacket, the zippers are all banged up and dirty up from hitting the other jackets, the drum, the water, Carol's jizz, the vegetable tanning, blah, 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 blah. I'm a fan. A bit sticky, but I'm a fan. The zipper for the exterior pocket is pretty much the same as the zipper on the sleeve. Same thing with the interior pocket, but the interior pocket makes a different kind of sound. It's even more tame. Not a fan at all of the YKK. For a $5,000 jacket, we deserve Cagney or Riri or Lambo. It's not even the X-Seller, which is the best that YKK has to offer. It's literally just a regular YKK zipper. If you're charging us this much, we deserve that extra bit of effort. A point or two for the fact that all pockets have zipper, a point or two for more on the diagonal zipper and the sleeve, but a lot of points were lost because of everything else I said. Okay, so you get 4 pockets, 2 exteriors at the bottom, 2 interior on the breast, once again, zipped up. Let's start with the exterior. You slide your hand in from the side, which is ideal-ish. I've recently developed this love for my Bodhi jacket, which is slanted like this. My hands, they easily slide through the pocket much better on the Bodhi. It doesn't look as sophisticated, but it's a lot more practical. Prior to getting this jacket, I didn't know the opening of the pocket is 3-dimensional. A lot of retailers, they fail immensely at displaying this unique detail. Looks really cool by the Bureau, right? It really separates a jacket from other leather jackets. Though it looks cool, it's a bit impractical because you gotta find a hole and then actively go through it. If it's a regular opening, you simply need to press your hands down and go through. The interior fabric is 100% cotton, but not the same as the interior lining. If we look at it side by side, hopefully I have the B-roll. I'm not a big fan of the interior material of the pockets. It has this dry feel to it and it's a bit sticky, so it's hard to move my hands around. I'm the kids that can't stay still, so I move my arms and leg a lot while I'm just standing still. When I got it, it was at the beginning of the summer, so it was like 90 degrees, right? My hands were sweating in the pockets. Would probably be really good for winter, you know, could warm the hands up faster. I personally wouldn't use this leather jacket as my main winter jacket. Obviously, the opening of the pockets could be bigger. When I wear this jacket with the glove on, it's a bit hard to put my hands in there. While I'm not wearing the glove part on, the opening of the forearm is so small, so it's still hard to put my hands in there. It fits my hand relatively good, not great, but good. And you know, roughly you can fit 1 water bottle comfortably in there, and then you can close the zipper. With 2, the heads of the bottle will be out. I find water bottle to be useful because we all have different size wallet, phones, hands, but water bottle, it's a good frame of reference. Overall, I'm simply happy to have 2 pockets at the bottom. I put my hands in there a lot, or would have if I didn't have to return it. Kind of sad now that it's gone, but I'm helping someone who was in a distress situation or stressful situation and not letting eBay earn money. Fighting the establishment kind of vibe, you know? And now with the interior pockets near the breast on both sides, beautiful, practical, I love it. For some reason though, I only use the left one, never the right. They're relatively small. I probably would have put some emergency money on the right side and store my AirPod on the left and possibly my phone. A bit hard to reach though because the sleeve, they are on the slim side and they have high armhole and of course the glove detail. So I'm glad they're there even though I don't use them that often. Carol though, he should take some notes from Rick. Make the interior pockets a bit bigger because it doesn't change the shape of the jacket. You simply expand the pockets. You're not making it bulky or anything. You know, the pocket's relatively good, nothing to scream about. Well, actually, I did scream about the 3D opening of the interior and also scream about all of the zipper. Yeah, okay, it's pretty good. I gotta stop comparing these garments to another thing that I own. You know, gotta stay in the moment and simply appreciate the good things and not diminish a certain thing because it doesn't live up to the other jacket and whatnot. Comparison is the thief of joy. We're gonna spend some time here, fellas. A lot to talk about. Before we start this segment, This is the LM2599G. And this one is the LM2599. This one is much more popular than the glove one because they're more widely available and easier to wear. The gloves can be a bit cumbersome to people and it can throw a few people off. By the way, CCP didn't simply sew the glove portion onto the existing 2599 and call it a day. It's one singular leather, which, changed completely how the jacket is made. The gloves add a lot of difficulty when constructing this garment or drawing up the pattern. Think a Tesla car, The shape of the car is unique and designed with the thought process of this being an EV car, whereas the BMW i4, it uses the existing body of the G26 4 Series Grand Coupe. Cost efficient, sure, but that i4 is not taking the advantage of the fact that there's no engine. Yes, it may look the same for the most part and have the same name, but with the added G, the construction is different because of the one-piece aspect. I might have over-exaggerated with the example, but I hope you get my point here. Of course, you get the titanium bit that are sewn between the leather and the interior lining. Your first question and mine too. How comfortable is it? Surprisingly very comfortable because there's this foam padding between the titanium and your hand. The titanium isn't too heavy, so it wasn't too hard for the team at CCP to put this in. If they were to put aluminum or lead, it would be a bigger problem because those metals are much heavier. I believe they use the foam that you and I know. It's not the highest quality. It doesn't feel high quality. I do wish I had the balls to cut the lining open to see how they construct this part soon. We're gonna get there. If we take a look at these boots, the titanium bit is protected from the feet with padded leather. I would have loved padded leather over foam. We paid a lot of money. We deserve padded leather instead of just some cheap foam that will probably use from their other shipment, in their factory. The titanium is connected. It's not individually set like wearing a glove. It's more like wearing a brass knuckles. Connected is what I'm trying to say. I have this terrible habit of over-explaining. Trust me, it hurts me more than it hurts you. I have to look at this far more than you. Oh, by the way, only the 4 fingers are connected. The titanium bit on the thumb is the small titanium bit. Same concept with the padding. You can clearly see the titanium trying to come out. But when you buy this jacket new, the titanium bits are not exposed yet. The photos you're seeing on the screen right now, these people took a knife to their jacket and exposed them. I had a video plan where I would cut opening the knuckles, but now that is out of the equation. So, while not exposed in the current state, you can still see the titanium trying to escape from under the leather. It's a very, very cool detail. Another detail I want to point out, you get a slightly different material to the area where the back of your hand touches the leather. It's a bit more comfortable, not as dry. I hope I have the video for it, but if I don't, take my words for it. Anyway, the returning situation happened. I had just woken up. I ship it out the same day because when I put myself in his shoes, I would want me to ship it out as soon as possible, Anyway, feels a bit smoother, a great design detail that will probably be overlooked by most brands such as Zicky Chen, Deep T, Boris, MA+, Julius, Paul Horton, Elena Dawson. They would have used the same material, call it a day because they can save a few bucks. Carol, he's superior to those bozos. Now let's talk about the opening of the finger holes. Prior to getting this, I was very concerned about whether or not my fingers would fit through them comfortably. Luckily, the team at CCP made these extra large, so it will accommodate anyone. I don't have the biggest of hand, nor the smallest, but a very pretty sets of hands. You can see 2 of your fingers can fit into one of the spaces because the space is significant. The design choice of the glove is fingerless glove. The team at Carol, if you're watching, release a version with the full-on or close-up glove. Drip them holes and now you get another product without changing too much. One more thing. The stitches on the opening of the glove, they don't itch the finger despite how busy and cumbersome they may look. I'm a bit traumatized by this piece of shit on the CCP boots right here. Once again, I haven't had the chance to wear this during the winter, but we can safely assume it won't keep your finger that warm. It covers roughly 1/4 of the finger portions. From my limited experience of wearing it around the house for 3 to 4 days, from my experience with the Kangaroo, I think they wouldn't be too good with the winter. The opening of the fingers are so big. During the winter time, if I want to keep warm, I would definitely wear my greedy gloves, or I would simply put my hand in the sleeve or in the pocket to keep warm. I had this segment planned out but never got around to it. Didn't get the chance to film the video of doing tasks with the jacket on, so here's what I can tell you. A bit hard to use my hand because there's a lot of leather and moving parts on the jacket. Doable but not comfortably. Briefly drove with the jacket for 5 minutes to go pick up my sister. Doable but not comfortably. In America, lots of potholes, so you need to shift within your lane a lot, and with the glove on, not all of my hands are touching the steering wheel, so it's a bit slower than I would like it to be. Didn't get the chance to eat with the jacket jacket on, I would assume it'd be very hard, a bit of a hassle. Didn't get the chance to use the bathroom, but I assume the fecal matter would get on the jacket when I wipe. Didn't get the chance to jerk off with it. I would assume it's a bit hard to finish because I'm not feeling the warm touch of a human skin. Okay, let's move a bit higher. You get the forearm opening for when you don't want to wear your jacket with the glove on, because it can be a bit of a bother, you know, it's not normal, or it doesn't feel as good as simply using your empty hands when you need to perform basic tasks. Let's start with the negative first. It's a bit too small. I wish they would make it longer. As you can see by the B-roll, when your hands are through the forearm, the glove part are dangling a bit too close to my hand for my comfort. For a good contrast, look at how my Rick jacket looks. It's more pleasing aesthetically and more comfortable because the holes are much bigger on the Rick Owens jacket. If I'm taking my hands out of the glove part because I want the full function of my hand, I probably don't want the glove part to dangle so close to my hand, you know? So minus a couple points here for this oversight. The zipper is once again YKK, not the smoothest, doesn't make the best of sound. When you're trying to zip up the forearm while both of your hands are in the glove portion, it's really hard. One, because it's YKK. Two, the Kangaroo leather has no integrity, so you gotta straighten out the leather so you can slide it close and open comfortably. With the short time I had with it, I mainly wear this jacket with the glove part on because it's a rarity, you know, but that's because I'm only in my room. My thought process was, if I'm walking to the grocery store, if I'm walking to the train, right, I would probably put my hand through the forearm because, you know, I'm addicted to my phone. I would assume I will have my wallet and water bottle in one of my bags, and the glove part of the jacket is a bit too big, you know, so it'd be frustrating for me to constantly need to go in and out of my bag. If I'm out and about, I probably only put the glove part on for when someone is taking a picture of me. You do get a cute CCP logo on the zipper, so you can kind of say that CCP is the participant of the logo mania. Cute detail, you know. You also get a lock for the zipper if you don't want the polo to make any noises. I rarely lock the polo though because it's a bit of a hassle to get it out if I want to suddenly close the forearm or open it, but it's a cute decoration that adds a bit of personality to the jacket. Most jackets don't have this, so it's a cute trick to show people, and you know, they get slightly amazed by that. When one with the hand out on the forearm, it doesn't look too good. It doesn't look good at all, to be honest. It looks like an infant wearing an adult article of clothing. When someone is taking a photo of me and I don't want to wear the glove part on, I will simply hide my hands in the sleeve rather than put them out of the forearm. For the most part, very functional to have a forearm opening. However, do you see how the zipper go up to the palm portion of the glove? I am on my computer a lot, writing my script, ordering new clothes, watching porn. It's constantly hitting my laptop, so if I'm wearing this jacket and I want to type on my computer, I will have to slide my hand through the forearm or take the jacket off completely. My laptop, the 2K, I gotta take care of that thing. I use it a lot. Well, yes, for the most part, I love it. It still has a few flaws. Hopefully the team at CCP has already noticed the problem and they're already doing some sampling with hopefully better and smoother zipper and longer opening, bigger opening. Let's move up a bit higher to the elbow. You get this huge titanium bit. Once again, no leather padding, just foam. Mine has the titanium kind of exposed. I've seen some that aren't exposed at all. I had planned on cutting a bit more of the leather to expose more brass of the elbow. In its current state, it's a bit too small for me. The more exposed you have, the more vicious it looks. Dude, rewriting the script has been such a pain in the ass. I have to change so much. I do hope I don't get scammed though, because I sent the jacket out yesterday. The guy could still do a chargeback or try to scam me or something. It was looking a bit fishy for a hot minute. A lot of red flags were raised, and my friend had pointed out too, but I believe I covered my ground. I got the money before I sent it out. Hopefully everything goes according to plan. You know, this sucks. The price to pay for being poor and not being able to shop for a product at full price. I hope I get out of this situation soon. Please pray for me. Please, bigger foam padding or leather padding, please and thank you. Due to this, you can feel the titanium bits a bit more. It's also because your elbow has bigger bones there, and when bones and metal touch, it's a bit more noticeable. Not uncomfortable, but the titanium bits do make its presence known. One of my fear or question was bendabilities. Good news though, the titanium is very strong. I tried to bend it, you know, not my hardest, but I tried with a decent amount of force and it doesn't seem to bend, so that's good news. The titanium bits doesn't necessarily sit right at the elbow, have to adjust a bit for that picture perfect one. One flaw with this, I tend to lean against the wall a lot because I have a bad back and flat-footed. The titanium bits, it will scratch the wall. The titanium bits on my boot scratches the floor, so, you know, same concept. if you plan on getting this jacket, please be ready to be more conscious, quite sharp. So when you enter any shop, be careful not to lean too hard against the wall. Another con, you can't lay your jacket flat because titanium is quite pronounced, it's quite 3D, protrude outward a lot, which is good aesthetically for wearing it. But when I was shooting the video, it was bothering me a lot because I wanted the jacket to be as flat as possible, but I ended up giving it up at the end. I believe the opening of the titanium is done by hands. You can see that it's not perfectly cut out, and of course on some jackets you don't see them cut up at all. I also like that the titanium is damaged. Oh, almost forgot. I know some of you were probably curious when I said osteoporosis, but you're a lazy piece of shit and probably won't Google it, so I will tell you a bit more about that. It's a bone disease that develops when bone mineral density and bone masses decrease when the structure and strength of the bone changes. This disease can lead to a decrease in bone strength that can increase the risk of bone breaking. That is just a brief summary. Hopefully that's good enough for you. However, if you want to learn more, simply Google osteoporosis or big black cocks. Both results will teach you a few things or two about bones. Overall, I'm a big fan of this detail. Definitely one of the main reasons why I got this jacket. It doesn't provide anything practical at all. If anything, it's a bit impractical. But not every design feature on a jacket needs to be functional. Sometimes it's okay to just look pretty. Obviously, there's a bit of story behind it, so it's slightly better than most brand that, some of those brands that simply put their signature bits on a jacket or on something that doesn't quite make sense. Think Elite, their roller coaster buckle. It doesn't really make sense on some of their garment, but he puts it on there anyway because, it's his calling card. He has to. If he doesn't, no one will buy his product. I'm sure Matt is a nice dude, but Elite's not a good brand. It won't last that long. It will not impact the culture. Started off well because, of his network and connection. There's a reason why Givenchy fired him or didn't renew his contract. I want to quickly touch upon the stretch mark or the stressing near the elbow area and all throughout the sleeve. I'm sure this is an intentional choice by Carol and the team. If you look at our own elbow, you see markings because all of the bending and twisting, it's gonna creases. Carol wants us to see this jacket as a second skin, wants to know that we're wearing the skin of a dead animal. Here's the length of the sleeve. As you can see by the B-roll, my hands are somewhat right here when I extend it to get my hands out of the glove. What this means is when you want to put your hand through the glove, you got to do a bit of adjusting of the sleeve. There's a bit of stacking because the sleeve are longer than the arms. This would have been so much better with the horse, dude. Now that I have returned this to the seller, I am now in the market for the horse, and I'm either gonna get the fancy jacket or I'm gonna get this jacket because, dude, horse leather with the stack of it's gonna be amazing. Horse leather, it's gonna be great. Or maybe by the time this video comes out, my curiosity with CCP will end here. I'll move on to a better brand. CCP, it's quite boring. Hasn't released anything new in years. I think I'm gonna look into Yoji Nuts. The clothes there, they interest me. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get to Yoji Nuts. Oh, almost forgot to mention. Of course, you get some scar stitches on the sleeve. We talked about them already. We'll talk about it a bit more later on. Two mechanism. What I mean by that is when your arms are all the way down and relaxed, harder to stretch. But when you go to the second mechanism, which just means you properly adjust the sleeve, it's more comfortable. It looks a bit worse because the sleeve has high armholes. While we're at it, let's talk about the high armhole. This is low rise armhole. This is high rise armhole. The pros of high rise armhole, it looks a bit better. The con, it's a bit more uncomfortable. Here's a better illustration if it helps. Carol, he also sees clothes as creatures or second skin. So the high armholes make you adjust your body to the jacket. So it's very on brand for him, You add the length of the sleeve, the high armhole, and the form-fitting width, you get a jacket that really makes its presence known. Leggings, you put it on, you don't even feel like you got anything on, but with this, it's the exact opposite, which is quite charming in its own way, While we're at it, let's talk about the width of the sleeve. It's a very form-fitting. I had planned on trying to put a hoodie and sweater underneath, but I sent it back before I could. Personally, I don't think you'll be able to. They're very form-fitting, and the leather doesn't have a lot to give. This is more of a second layer of your winter wear rather than the most exterior. A compliment I can give the team at CCP, it's tighter on the forearm and it expands a bit more on the biceps area. A brand who doesn't care will simply say, okay, we want this garment to have a slim fitting sleeve, so just make it all slim. But when you deal with designers that care, such as Carol, Rick, Amiri, you get a well thought out garment. God, that was a long time on the sleeve. So the back of the garment, not a lot going on. Let's start from the top. My shoulder, they're roughly 22 to 23 inches, and the measurement of this jacket is roughly 19 from the picture of the previous seller. And I can kind of confirm this by how tight it is on me. Add that to the fact that it's high armhole, so it makes these weird creases along the line across the armpit when you stretch your arm around, especially when you zipped it up. According to Charlie from the website Next 51, the shoulder line is placed diagonally further back than a typical jacket. This unique pattern gives the front of a jacket-like look with a set-in design, while the back has raglan sleeves, making it easy to wear while still maintaining a robust look that is characteristic to this leather jacket. The back and the sleeve are a one-piece pattern, whereas they are usually sewn together. Darts are made on a single piece of leather, and each part is constructed. The website was in Japanese, so Google translated this, but I don't think it translated properly. A few parts from what I just read to you didn't really make too much sense. Anyway, take what you can from what Charlie wrote via Google Translator. I want to point out this cute little detail. Most jackets simply have a straight line of stitches or seam here, but the team at Kangaroo decided to add this little cute 90-degree angle thing. I think it's merely decorative, but if you are an expert tailor or a huge CCP nerd, please let me know if there's any practical aspect to this detail. We are talking about the zipper, the pockets. Other than that little 90 degrees detail, there's not a lot going on in the front of the jacket. I thought about a breast pocket, but I think it will ruin the vibe a bit because, empty is good there, but if I were in the rule, get it, rule with the creative team, I would suggest adding a hidden breast pocket along the zipper, similar to Rick Owens and his latest obsession with the far pockets. Hide it somewhere right here, and then people can slide their hand through from the side. Or maybe they should add a really big Supreme box logo here. Would have made this boring ass jacket exponentially better, but Carol, he knew his core audience wouldn't be able to comprehend the value one brand get by using a logo to get the point across. You gotta keep it simple, otherwise them Discord kittens are gonna unalive themselves. Slightly longer than I would like it to be, but the longer sleeve does make the jacket look a bit more cropped. If the sleeve were normal, this jacket would look so bad in my opinion. With the length being longer, they do make me look a bit shorter. I don't mind that fact, but I do mind how it doesn't look as aesthetically pleasing as a crop jacket. Almost all of my jackets recently are somewhat on the crop side, so it's a bit strange for me to see this on me. Not a lot to talk about other than that. It's a fairly inoffensive length of body. The measurement according to the previous owner is this. We'll talk more about that later, but nothing too crazy about the length. I talked about the stitches briefly, but why not talk about it some more? The scar stitch, I'm a big fan. It's also present on the vest that I have. I've seen this kind of stitches on Rick Owens as well. I don't think Carol invented it or anything to that nature. Simply plays really well into his brand ethos, human skin, blah, 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 second skin, yawn. Though I like the black on black, I do think I would have loved it more if it were to be white on black. Would have made the jacket pop a bit, give it a bit more personality. If you look at some of his other jacket, he has done white stitches on colored garment, and I think they look swell. One more thing, it's not all scar stitches. Some of them stitches are just regular. I would have loved all scar stitch or maybe overlock. Let me know what you guys think about the proposed change I've said. Do you agree or do you agree? I asked my friend recently on Instagram about what else they wanted to see from my B-roll, and one person asked for ASMR, so here's it is. Black because Carol is a black man. Now you might say, how do you know he's a black man? Well, as many of you might know or not know, someone snapped a photo of Carol 15 some odd year ago and it was stolen. That was the last known image of him. I found a man who knew a man who knew a man who had that photo. The problem is he will only show it to people who would travel to him. So I did. I went to Austria, paid 300 euros, signed an NDA, and I saw his beautiful face. Now, you might have seen this photo circulating online. If you think that's real, I am very sorry to tell you. It's fake. Well, it's not fake, but it's a photo of one of his co-workers at the atelier. Carol was really mad when the photo was stolen. He likes his quiet and simple life that he shared with his partner Sergio. Inspired by Margiela, he wants a clothes to speak for him. He doesn't want the fame. He likes to drink his tea, eat his schnitzel, and watch his hentai, so don't go to Milan trying to find his office. The interior line is 100% cotton with perforated holes. I'm assuming it's for air circulation. Similar to the boots, you can see that they put some holes in there so the body doesn't get too sweaty. A very thoughtful and practical designer. Very rare in today's day and age. We just lost another one. Dries Van Noten recently retired. He just want to play in his garden with his partner Patrick. Anyway, enjoy your retirement, Dries. Okay, interior lining feels very rough to the skin. It's dry. I would have loved silk, but then it wouldn't be very Bauhaus of him. This is more rough, more raw, more abstract, so I get it. Has this greenish color to it. I do not like it at all. I would have loved black or neon green. Either be subtle or go all out, or put the Supreme logos there. You do get some leather trimming, which is nice. What I noticed though, the leather on the interior is slightly thinner. This is simply from feeling it. I don't know for sure. It could be my brain having biases and whatnot. It's also a bit stickier, not as oily as the exterior. And now here's what the tag looks like if you plan on buying this. So if you want to make sure yours is real, if it looks anything like mine, it's fake. For this segment, I want to talk about what angle looks the best. I think the best angle for me is from the side. You see a bit of everything. A bit of the glove detailing, which is a rare design. You get a bit of the silver elbow, a bit of the high neck. The next best angle for me is the back. You see the creases of the leather from the anatomically correct way that the team at Kangaroo designed this jacket to be. You get to see the glove, the lead elbow detail. From the front, it's not bad, but it's not as good as the other two angles. The slightly diagonal zipper isn't vicious enough to draw that much attention. It's also covered, so if you don't pay that much attention, you can't even tell it's slightly slanted. Though the sleeve is one piece and the shoulder, whatever Charlie said earlier, is one piece, the jacket as a whole is in one singular piece of leather. His Yuso boots, that's one singular boot, that's one singular leather. That impresses me. His dead end jeans are one piece. I don't think he makes any jacket in one singular piece, but this jacket I found, it says it's called Invisible Melt Lock One Piece Jacket, but you do see the stitches, so I don't think it's one piece. But to be fair, I never held it in my hand, so I wouldn't know. Maybe the stitches are just there for decoration and it is one piece. What I do know is this jacket is made up of multiple pieces of leather. I would have been more impressed if it was one piece. First, what is kangaroo? Well, it's a really big rat that lives in Austria. Hallo, wie geht es Ihnen? Ich bin Makasy und du? Fun fact, Australia was populated by criminals, by the people who eat like German planes are still flying over their head. A country that is one of the more racist countries on earth, which is a bit baffling considering they have an Indian prime minister. After America won the war against the UK, America baby, number one, the British government couldn't transport their convicts to the US anymore, so they chose Australia. In the early 1770s, James Cook, chartered a wooden boat to Australia and claimed it for the UK. They chose this country, or continent, whatever you want to call it, as the new prison. According to this website right here, the Brits sent around 160,000 people to Australia from the year 1788 to 1868. That's more than Aruba, Jamaica. Come on, pretty mama. A fact I saw, 1 in 5 Australian is a descendant of a convict. Crazy stat. God, I wish math was real. Okay, kangaroo, native to Australia, not endangered at all. If you look it up on Google, roughly 36.5 million of them on that shitty continent. And according to Google as well, roughly 26 million people live on that continent. Kangaroo, known infamously for trying to choke out a dog but lost to a criminal. Citizen of Australia. Kangaroos are vegetarian. Those fuckers eat grass and leaves. So why are they trying to choke out a dog? Is it for fun? Do they sometimes get bored? Well, it's because of the dingoes, the natural predator of kangaroo. But the citizen of Australia, they love kangaroos, so they view the dingo as pest species because they eat farm animals. So Australia has used poison, a bounty system, trapping, shooting, and the population of dingo, I believe it's now in the endangered numbers. Okay, let's talk about pro first of the kangaroo leather. Durability, it's incredibly strong. It has a tight grain structure that makes it resistant to abrasions. Lightweight. This makes it super popular for outdoor activities such as hiking and camping. If you look into kangaroo leather, they're mostly used in really good soccer cleats. Moisture wicking. This means that it helps keep the wearer dry and comfortable. This makes it ideal for use in hot or humid environment. Softness. Despite its durability, kangaroo leather is also soft and supple. This means that the boots made from kangaroo leather are comfortable to wear and conform to the wearer's feet over time, creating a unique character to the product, though this can be said about every other leather. Sustainability. We talk about the kangaroo population. We're not hunting them down to extinction, don't worry. According to Liberty Leather Goods, kangaroo leather is very strong due to the structure of the collagen fiber in the skin. Unlike cows, sheep, or other animals, kangaroo do not have sweat glands within their skin. This allowed the skin to be much more even, consistent structure. Additionally, the collagen fiber structure runs mostly parallel to the skin. This help forms a dense and consistent pattern throughout the skin, where other type of animal leather have variation throughout a hide. The skin structure also allowed the leather to be split into thinner pieces and still retain much of its strength. For example, a split cow leather hide with 20% original thickness retain on average 2% of its original strength. A split kangaroo leather skin of 20% original thickness retain on average 50% of its original strength. The difference in leather strength are due mainly to the skin structure. Cow leather has several layers of varying composition, collagen density, and fiber alignment. When it is cut, the overall structure is weakened in multiple places. Kangaroo leather, however, is consistent throughout, so when it's cut, most of the strength remain. Tailor-made feel. Due to the fiber interweaving rope-like structure, kangaroo leather boots experience subtle expansion around the contour of the feet, causing the upper shape to the wearers much faster. Kangaroo leather has a noticeable grain and does crease easily, though the creasing doesn't usually lead to cracking because of the strength of the collagen fibers. Unless it is corrected, it's usually not the smoothest leather. Almost all kangaroo leather has scars. It's not the shiniest either. Kangaroo has a matte texture that develops patina quickly and it darkens faster than other leather. Another interesting detail I found on this website, unlike cow leather that originated from farm sources, kangaroo are sourced from the wild. This wild upbringing, along with thousands of years of adaptation in Australia's harsh and rugged bushland, make kangaroo leather more durable and hard-wearing than cow leather. Additionally, when compared to domestic farming, sourcing animals from wild population, where they are fed instantly in their natural environment, avoid inhuman processes like herding, penning, or transportation. I also found this great video that went even further than I could about the strength of kangaroo leather, link in the description below. I am a big fan of these kangaroo boots. I do not mind getting another pair of boots or getting a leather jacket made from kangaroo. Powell's work is founded on an attempt at demetaphorization, or rather the concretization of the metaphor. The garment, according to Powell, is not only a second skin, it is skin. Stitching is not only like a scar or incision, it is scar and incision. A man, a potential corpse. One might point out that the leather is skin, yes and no. On the one hand, it is a skin, but a skin that has been transformed, that has lost many of its initial characteristics. On the other hand, a leather garment is only bearable on the strict condition that its initial nature as a skin, bloody and animal, be forgotten or at least hidden. Christian Michel. I will preface this segment by saying kangaroo is not my first choice. I want horse or bisons. There's two types of kangaroo, rule and room. Rule is thinner, it's 0.4 to 0.5 millimeter, whereas room is 0.8, 0.9, essentially double. It's sad I didn't even get to think of the kangaroo, but CCP is just a weird brand to get into. You don't get a lot of choices. They release products sporadically. To quickly compare the thickness and the grain, this jacket is rule, my boots are room, I believe anyway, because I can sense how much thicker the leather of the boots are. The main reason I want a horse version though, they can stand on their own because of how thick and rigid the horse leather is. Anyway, not mine anymore, got my money back. Tell me in the comment what you'd like to see me review, or if you're a brand, send me your product to review. Email in the description. I will send the product back. I don't want to keep it, I just want to make more video. No stacking. So one of the things why I'm not a fan of kangaroo, no stacking of the leather. Well, you know, a little bit here and there, but the horse would have been a lot more clearer. Now, just imagine the stacking that you're seeing here on the boots, on the elbow area, near the shoulder, on the chest, but especially the sleeve in general. Remember how I said when I wear the glove, there's some extra leather on the sleeve? Dude, Imagine horse stacking on the sleeve when I got the glove on. It would have been great. The next thing I want to talk about, the smell. There's this unique smell to it. I can't seem to describe it. I'm not that good with my words yet. The strange thing, however, is there's no smell on the kangaroo boots. So maybe there wasn't enough leather on the boots. Oh, one more thing. The smell of this kangaroo isn't as strong as the horse. You gotta be a bit closer with the horse. You can leave it anywhere in your room, it will permeate in your room. I left my boots in my car once. The whole car smelled like horse for a couple of days, and I loved it. I talked briefly about how this leather has a beautiful shine to it. That is due to the vegetable tanning and the dyeing process. I also think they oiled the leather up for that shiny look because it looks and feels oily. To quickly compare, see how dry this leather is? If you know for sure, please comment down below, but I do believe CCP oiled it. So yes, kangaroo is not as good as horse, but it's significantly better than lamb and calf. I don't think I will ever get a calf leather jacket. Horse is my first choice, second is kangaroo, maybe bison's. I haven't owned bison yet, so we'll see, but it's definitely lamb and then calf. But first thing, horse. What I can compliment the kangaroo on is how it kind of molds to the body. If this was horse, it would be more rigid, it wouldn't go right when you want to go right. If you are planning on getting this jacket and you haven't felt kangaroo before, it will be a great experience. The grain is more unique, a bit of stacking, more so than lamb and calf. It's so thin and lightweight, but when you try to rip it, it feels more secure than lamb. Though the grain isn't as unique as the kangaroo boots, you can still see it. And obviously since it's thin, every time you move the leather a certain way, it forms new lines. I'm a big fan of the grain, and just everything about this is good. It's not bad. I simply like the horse better. It's just a matter of my preference. Oh, one more thing. I heard kangaroo is more expensive than horse. I didn't read the full article, didn't fact check the source. I'm just gonna run with the headline that I saw, and I will now spread this news without double checking it because I'm American. At the time of this writing, I did my usual indoor water test, just a splash of water. As you can see, the water kind of just stays there until you move it. All leather does this, well, for the most part. We won't get into the blistered leather. Okay, kangaroo, I move the water around, and when the water leaves one area, leave a bit of water behind, a bit of a wet spot, but quickly disappear as I run my hand through them or take the water away a bit. I move them around to see whether the wet spot will stay or not, or it will seep through the leather. Poorer quality leather will take the water in. I wipe them away with my towel, and the leather looks as though it never came in contact with water. However, you do sense a bit of coldness for a minute or two, but after 3 to 4 minutes, it doesn't feel, and now it doesn't look as though it touches water at all, which is good news. By the time this video comes out, I would have already be living and hopefully comfortably in Munich. I have a video idea, or a bit. I'm gonna recreate this one way. I will look to buy a pair of CCP pants and a shirt to complete the look, and then I will float down a river. I'll have my wife film me. There's just one slight hiccup though. I don't know how to swim. I cannot seem to float. Trust me. Many people have tried to teach me. I simply go under. Hopefully my girls can teach me how to swim by then. If not, I'll rent some floater or a life vest and make that video. But to be honest, by the time you're watching this, I would have already done that stunt, and the video is simply waiting to be uploaded, so should be fun. I haven't seen anyone but CCP do this, so I will be the first. By the way, I wrote all of that before I returned the jacket. So now I gotta look for a jacket, pants, and shirt until I can do this stunt. One sentence though. I always get what I want. Okay, water test on the interior lining. It is 100% cotton, not leather. As you pour the water down, you can quickly see the water changing, darker, darker, darker. I lifted the jacket a bit to get a bigger wet spot. I see that the wet spot was only getting darker and darker, so I decided to wipe it down to help speed up the dryness because I don't want to record a 30 minutes B-roll. I got my phone out because I plan on speeding up this segment, so let's speed it up. 2 minutes in, and I'm thinking, please don't leave a water stain. Please don't leave a water stain because I might sell this jacket one day. It's my first day of owning it. Speed it back up, and now 3 to 4 minutes in, I can slowly see the wet spot drying. Speed it back up again. Lighter, lighter, lighter. Looking promising. 10 to 12 minute marks, the wet spots are completely gone. Though the water spot is gone, I can sense a bit of wetness still. An hour or two after, could not tell it had touched water, so good news there. In an ideal world, I would do more dirt related testing, chocolate, sand, oily Chinese food, dry ass sandwich, hot dog, burger, ketchups and all that. But this is a very expensive jacket and I'm not the richest dude yet. One day when brands send me free clothes, I would do all these tests to show you guys. I have a lot of ideas that I want to enact, but it requires money. We will get there gentlemen, success is never overnight. It's grinding, and I'm ready to put in the time. When we get there, we can look back at how much of a pussy I am with all the small testing I'm doing here. Oh, I'm excited to see how the interior line will do with me drowning them as I float down a river, and that video is gonna be interesting. I will of course research deep into mainstream and downstream. Unlike some of these jabronis making videos and talking about CCP without owning CCP, I will be risking my literal life for you guys on top of the extensive research I would do. So don't ever compare me to these TikTokers making 30-second clips where they put a photo of CCP product with the name of the video titled 2035 wish list. I don't make wish lists. I do your mom while you're in your room making a wish list. Once again, I wrote all of that before I had to return the jacket. God, this is so sad. I am 172 pounds, 5'10", or 159 centimeters. I typically wear a large or extra large in most outerwear. For this jacket, I got it in a size 54, which is an extra large. They fit more like a large or a big medium. This is anatomically correct. It's a leather object dye product, kangaroo leather. There are a lot of variables that goes into how much the leather shrink when it's in the drum. If you are planning on buying it from a store, simply email them and ask them for measurement, because each season or release will be different than the other. If you're buying it secondhand, ask for photo measurement, because some people do not know how to measure. I had to deal with something bad related to that. Anyway, the point is, I talk about the fit briefly throughout the video, but let's quickly go over all of it again in one segment so you don't gotta skip around. The sleeve, the length is great on the slim side, but not uncomfortable. Hard armholes or high-rise armholes, so a bit uncomfortable, but looks a bit better. Hard to put something underneath. With the shoulder, it's roughly 19 to 20 inches according to the previous seller. I would prefer 21, 23. This is comfortable, 9 out of 10, but a bit bigger would not have hurt. I like my products oversized, so account for that as well if you're gonna listen to me here. The chest is great, about 23 inches, plenty of room. The length of the jacket could be a bit shorter, but the longer sleeve does make it feel and look as though it's cropped. Prosthetics on the elbows are more noticeable. The glove part is very comfortable, big holes. Once again, ask for measurement. Don't listen to anyone for sizing recommendation. Measure yourself and measure the jacket. Roughly $5,000 with custom, I would say 5.5K. I will be living in Munich soon, and there's this store called Samsa G Tukwarn. If I ever get over my fear of entering a store to try stuff on and not buy anything, I will still not go there. I'm just scared. I'm scared because I think their product would be out of my price range. I'm scared that the workers don't give me attitude. Which high-end store, I will always research before I go in, and I have already decided in my bedroom that I'm gonna get it. Then I will enter the high-end store. I heard that this store though, they only let one customer in at a time, so you get the full service. Truly my nightmare coming true. Even if they invite me and tell me, Makasy, come and try stuff on, we just want you to experience different CCP product, I will still not go. Unless I know I'm getting something, I just feel guilty if I walk out without buying anything. I feel like I'm wasting their time. Okay, price tag, $5,500, quite high, but not outrageous. You know, the financial price is bearable, but the emotional and psychological price, they're much heavier. Once you get into CCP, you gotta train your brain to hate every other brand. You gotta condition your body to reject the likes of Guidi, Rick, CDG, Undercover, RAF, Margiela, anything else, because the lack of information on CCP as a brand give disbelief that the brand is better. Think of CCP as the film Stalker by Tarkovsky. Every film dude swear by this movie, praise it by putting down every other good modern director such as Nolan, Tarantino, and Fincher, because Stalker is so good, so deep, so forward yet so classic. And then when you watch it, it's just a black and white boring ass film about a couple of dudes talking and nothing happening. But since it's slow paced, black and white, caught a couple of philosophical questions here and there, it's deep and better than every other film. That is CCP in a nutshell. God forbid strangers on the internet do a haul of Zara, Shein, Forever 21, Raf Simon. I am legally obligated to insert myself into the stranger's life and start commenting, sending comments such as, dude, that's so bad for the environment, not real close. You know, I will call these people poor, even though it has nothing to do with me. And when people say, dude, why does it bother you? I get to throw the, hey man, they put it on the internet. Free for me to comment now. A lot of people are not ready for the shift in behavior and emotions. I had to say goodbye to so many of my Rick Owens friends because they're simply not in my mental tax bracket anymore. I'm scared to talk to Yogi people because I don't want the inferiority to affect me. I have to puke every time someone talks about how Hedi Slimane makes the best leather jacket, because personally, I can't possibly think of anyone making a better leather jacket than Carol. I honestly have to burn some incense to my ancestors to calm my inner voice when I see people wear CCP with other brand, because I only accept one way of wearing CCP, looking like an Olive Garden waiter. I will call other people sheep for liking Dior, LV, Zara, Acne and all that, but when it comes to wearing CCP, it's avant-garde sheeping, so it's okay for me, you know. Don't read too much into this hypocrisy. It's avant-garde. You wouldn't get it, you poor bitch. So yes, $5,500 is heavy, but the loss of my friends, the increase in my douchiness, the decrease in my empathy, the steady decline of friends, it's a heavier toll than the $5,000. I am lonelier than ever. I lack so much regular, genuine human conversation and contact that I have to substitute this by rage baiting strangers from the internet to compensate for this. Think of me as a guy who makes $20K a year defending billionaires on Twitter against middle class and upper middle class individual when they try to increase taxes on my girl Musk and the Zuckster, even though I'm closer to zero than to billion. But I dream of being a billionaire one day, so you know they can't increase it when I become one of the billionaires, even though it's statistically impossible and almost every billionaire started off with a rich family. Carol, you know, he's probably just a nice man, love joking around with his friends and coworkers, love his family, love going out to see Lars play football. Genuinely a nice Austrian man, I'm sure, a normal Austrian man like Joseph Fretz, don't Google him. The left have spread so many fake news about this beautiful and innocent man. Anyway, since Carol doesn't do interview, I can push my douchiness persona that I've created for myself onto him, thus justifying my douchiness if I'm ever cornered by stranger when they get angry after I tell them to kill themselves and call them mean names. So yes, $5,000 is a lot, but you are not ready for the emotional and psychological tolls. I am better than you, hence why I am able to wear this and you can't. Okay, a bit of story time. I've been buying a lot of clothes lately, and maybe this is my life getting in the way, but my relationship with my wife has been going great. My relationship with my family has improved greatly. We're talking more, we're laughing with each other more. All of us are healthy. I get along with my second family. My mother-in-law, Phoebe Philo, is aging gracefully into her 30s. My father-in-law is a successful man who has far too many bikes. My two kids are beautiful. My friends are all rich and successful. What I'm trying to say is, lately when I get new clothes, I get excited from the moment I order until the 5 minutes after I receive them, and then it just disappears. I was a bit happy, to be honest, when I had to return it because I didn't love it enough. After a day or two of owning it, I knew I was going to sell it to replenish my YouTube fund to buy more product to review. I had the same thought with the Kangaroo Leather jacket, but when I reviewed it, I loved it so much, I'm keeping it. However, if my family asks, it's on sale right now on Grail. It's not on sale. I'm keeping that shit forever. It's beautiful. Maybe it's the fact that my life is going so well that I don't need to depend too much on the dopamine that I would get from purchasing products. I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you see someone getting really obsessed and happy when they're buying stuff online, they are more sad and more lonely than you can ever imagine, and they're definitely hornier than you can ever imagine. So when you touch them, keep in mind that they're pausing their porn to touch you, and they're simply waiting for you to stop texting them so they can resume their porn after.